Some animals did not evolve. Not because they went extinct, not because they disappeared, because they were already perfect. While dinosaurs rose and fell, while continents shifted, while ice ages came and went and came again, these animals simply continued, unchanged, undisturbed. Living proof that some designs are so effective that hundreds of millions of years of evolution had nothing to improve. These are not myths. These are not exaggerations. These are animals alive right now that were alive before almost everything else on this planet existed. The horseshoe crab has been on this planet for 450 million years. To put that in perspective, that is 200 million years before the first dinosaur ever existed. When horseshoe crabs first appeared, the continents were still fused into one enormous landmass. Fish had not yet developed legs. Trees did not exist. The oceans were full of creatures so alien that modern science struggles to classify them. And the horseshoe crab was already there. The horseshoe crab that washes up on a beach today is structurally almost identical to fossils found in rock from the Ordovician period. The same dome-shaped shell, the same 10 legs, the same long spiked tail. The design did not change because it did not need to. But here is what most people do not know. Its blood is one of the most medically valuable substances on Earth. Blue, copper-based, and extraordinarily sensitive to bacterial contamination. When horseshoe crab blood detects even trace amounts of dangerous bacteria, it clots immediately, sealing the threat. Every single injectable medication or vaccine you have ever received was tested using horseshoe crab blood. The FDA requires it. The entire global pharmaceutical industry depends on an animal that was alive before trees existed. The Nautilus has been swimming in the deep ocean for 500 million years. While every other cephalopod, the octopus, the squid, the cuttlefish, evolved dramatically over that time, developing extraordinary intelligence, complex camouflage, and advanced nervous systems, the Nautilus barely changed. It retained its external shell when everything else abandoned it. It kept its primitive eye structure, essentially a pinhole camera with no lens, when everything else developed complex vision. It kept the same basic body plan it had when the oceans were young and the continents had not yet taken their modern shapes. It survives at depths where pressure would crush most modern sea creatures, in cold, dark water where food is scarce, living slowly and moving minimally. It can survive for over 20 years on almost nothing. The Nautilus is not a survivor by accident. It found conditions that suited it perfectly and stayed there while the rest of the ocean changed dramatically around it. 500 million years of other animals evolving. The Nautilus watched from the deep and did not bother. In 1938, a South African fisherman pulled something up from the deep that should not have existed, a coelacanth. This fish was known only from fossils. Paleontologists had confidently declared it extinct for 65 million years, wiped out in the same mass extinction event that killed the dinosaurs. It was considered one of the most definitive examples of a complete evolutionary dead end. A closed chapter, and then one appeared, alive, slowly swimming, completely unconcerned with having been declared extinct for 65 million years. The coelacanth is extraordinary, not just because it survived, but because of what it actually is. It uses lobed fins that move in a pattern closer to walking than swimming. It is one of the closest living relatives to the fish that first crawled out of the ocean, and eventually became every land animal alive today, including humans. It has a hinged skull that allows its upper jaw to swing upward independently when it opens its mouth, a feature found in no other living fish. It gives birth to live young, carrying eggs internally for up to 3 years before a single birth. It was alive when dinosaurs walked the earth. It was alive when the first humans appeared. And it is alive right now in the deep Indian Ocean, moving through dark, cold water the same way it has for 400 million years, completely unaware that it was supposed to be gone. The Greenland shark does not swim fast. It does not need to. It lives at depths of up to 2,000 meters in the freezing waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic Ocean, where temperatures hover just above freezing and light from the surface never reaches. Its metabolism is so extraordinarily slow, it moves at an average speed of less than 1 kilometer per hour. It grows less than 1 centimeter per year. It is in no hurry, and it lives for at least 400 years, possibly significantly longer. Scientists studying Greenland sharks using radiocarbon dating of proteins in their eye tissue that forms at birth and never regenerates, have found individuals estimated to be between 272 and 512 years old. The most likely estimate for the oldest confirmed individual is around 400 years. That means there are Greenland sharks alive in the ocean right now that were born before the Mayflower left England, before Isaac Newton was born, before the telescope was invented, before any nation currently on Earth existed in its modern form. They reach sexual maturity at around 150 years old. They spend their entire extended lives in absolute darkness and cold, drifting slowly through water that most animals cannot tolerate, feeding on whatever sinks down to their depth. They are not thriving despite their slowness. They are thriving because of it. In an environment where food is scarce and energy is everything, a metabolism this slow is not a limitation. It is the most effective survival strategy ever evolved in a vertebrate animal. These animals did not survive by adapting to change. They survived by finding a place where change could not reach them and refusing to leave. While evolution drove most life through constant pressure to become something new and more complex, these animals found their perfect environment and simply stayed. They watched everything that came before us disappear, and they will almost certainly be here long after we are gone. The oldest living things on Earth are not impressive because of what they became. They are impressive because of what they refused to stop being. Please like and subscribe.